Yo, what's up, guys? It's Lamont Trades with a little bit of a recap on the 29th of October. So, I'm just gonna go over my trading plan, price action, today's trade, kind of a trade, and then progress on my funded and what I should be working on. So, let's start out with my usual trading plan. Alright, so it's usually about a 1 to 3 and a 1 to 4 return. Just about every time. I usually plan to trade, I should say, look for a trade that gives me around 100 to 50 to 100 ticks. So that'll pretty much, my risk is usually about $100 to 120. So it'll probably look like this maybe. And then usually here's about 50. Maybe it's a little bit less than that. And then we got around 100. So that's what that looks like. Usually pretty consistent with that. It's not really too difficult if we have decent trading conditions. And then main model is breaker plus fair value gap plus higher time frame confluences. So that's pretty simple, to be honest. Usually just kind of looks like that. Usually got a breaker right about here. Usually gives me what I need, to be honest. And you can see it just about every single day. So it's been pretty consistent for me. I've been doing that the past year about. And yeah, it's what I'm becoming profitable with. So compared to switching trading plans every other month. So breaker's pretty flexible. You can use it in a majority of conditions. So I can actually find a trade or a few of them where I've used this. Yeah. So you got a breaker here and just entered in the breaker. This one I got barely stopped out, like maybe a tick or two, and then it ran straight for TP. Another one here, small breaker, straight to sell side. This was an inverse, no breaker really. That was the same trade. No breaker. Inverse. I think it's about it, to be honest. And then, oh, deleted way too much. Yeah, so that's about it. It's a pretty simple plan. See it just about every single day. It's nothing too complicated. You can add a SMT on top of it, or honestly whatever. You just gotta look for a target and just look for confluences plus that, there's multiple entries you can take before or after you see the breaker in case you miss it or you want to get in early. So that's pretty flexible. Definitely would recommend. And then let's go to today's trade. So I'm doing a 50k challenge. I have to get 3k, so I have about 170 left. Today I closed out of the trade at about break even. So I mean, there's that, but it's alright. I'm not really worried, to be honest. It was kind of a trashy day. You can see here. Here's the midnight sesh, early morning sesh, and then took the sell side from the midnight session. Immediately retraced and inversed. Let's check the lower. Actually, let's start on the daily. Daily is what gave me my bias because we just had this gap. We've been stuck in this, what was it, the weekly gap for a while now. So we hit this daily gap, and yeah, we got out of the gap. We might take these highs tonight. There's a SMT, which it worked with the 930 manipulation. It shot it straight down into the gap. 4 hour, not a ton on the 4 hour. It's kind of a breaker, but it's been in it way too long. Monday's high, easy target. Monday's low, another easy target. This was the 930 manipulation. New week opening gap we filled yesterday. It was pretty easy short. Yeah, so I'll just go over it again. This 5-minute gap we inversed. This was the 930 sell, which there was no entry to that I could see. So we inversed. We had this gap. I don't know why I didn't take the entry. I think I was overthinking it and I was stuck on the 1 minute. But that's alright because we had a second entry right here. And I saw it shoot up and then close below. So I thought it was going to reverse. Just kind of said, alright, if it's going to go back to break even or even close to it, I'm just going to call it. And that was just about the worst thing I could have done. But that's okay. I think I just wasn't looking at the higher time frames. I was stuck on the 1 minute. Because if I would have seen this, I probably would have held. Because my target was these highs. Pretty easy target. I think it was like, yeah, it was 65 pips or ticks, whatever it is. Inverse, gap. Second entry. It's actually a breaker entry. I'm gonna fix this real quick. Breaker entry that I did not see because I was on the 1 minute. Let's go to the 2 minute. Yeah, we bounced off the 930 and the 830 price. We targeted the low, which was directly in line with this 810 low. Took out, inversed. Yeah, I was planning to get in here, but I was overthinking it because we didn't close above this. If we would have closed above this, I would have said Oh, it's a breaker. So I can enter on basically anywhere below here. And then I entered right above here because this was about to close above this gap that got inversed. And we shot up and we slammed straight down, and I got out like right about here. Let me find it. Not logged in. Yeah, but we shot up, slammed straight down to here. I was like, alright, it's basically at break even. I might as well just get out. And then it shot back up 2 candles later. Kind of just played around. And then 10:22. Shot up. This is the top of that weekly gap. So pretty much inversed this gap if we can close in 3 hours. And then yeah, I mean, all of them were in correlation too, for the most part, which is also a nice confluence to have. So that would have given me about 100 ticks. So basically my plan, my return that I look for every time, I mean at least 50, but 100 on a good day. So there's that. Broke down, up, closed up here, had a breaker with a gap entry where I got out right about here. I should have waited for the candle to close because this was 10 o'clock news, so it shot down, went up, and then closed down. I think that's what kind of scared me out of the move, but that's okay. So we've got $170 left on this 50k challenge, and then we'll have the account, and the plan is to use that account to make a little bit of money, but for the most part just be able to fund doing about 4 more challenges. I'll probably do 2 at once, but the plan is to get 5 50k challenges and then start to build up profit and capital. So I'm gonna list the things that I'm gonna try to work on. So I think number 1, I'm just gonna hold trades till stopped out entirely instead of closing for losing trades. Obviously it'll be different for winning trades, just because I'm not gonna leave one contract on to get stopped out and return 100 points. That just makes sense. Number 2, I'd say a little bit of emotions. I'm definitely not as emotional as I used to be. 100% way better. I barely get jittery. You know, I'm not really mad that I'm losing half the time, the majority of the time. And I don't trade emotionally, no FOMO. Every once in a while I'll crash out a little bit, but for the majority, I do pretty well, I'd say. And I don't get really happy about wins at all anymore. It's just kind of part of the process, which is nice to not have to feel that. And then, I don't know, number 3, maybe back test a little bit more. Definitely not with like a what's it called? A replay or like FX replay. Just because that's not my thing. I don't enjoy those, and it doesn't seem like it helps at all for me. So I just say kind of going through the charts, really reviewing previous day's trades. And price action. So I think that's what really has helped me, because I've been trading for about almost 2 years now. And that's the main thing, is just going through the motions every single day, showing up and actually waking up to trade. Number 4. Let me think of something. Probably better journaling, to be honest. I do have a journal that I use. I think it's called Notion. Yeah. It's kind of like an all-around journal, but I would definitely recommend it. So I got notes here. I've got night/day journal. October. Here's a trade from the other day. Open and full page. Wonder if I can make this bigger. Oh, there we go. Yeah, I just kind of post the trades. I don't necessarily comment every single time. I used to a lot, but you can add the date, you can add pictures, you can add hella comments if you want. I've got paragraphs. It's a nice little organizer. I'll link it below. Definitely not sponsored. I have like 2 subs. But definitely recommend this one. Templates, calendar, a whole bunch of stuff. There's a lot of presets too, which is nice. But you can really personalize it. So, yeah, I think that's about it. Thanks for watching. Make sure to sub. And don't get emotional when you're trading. You know, backtest a lot, show up every day, wake up for the market, and keep studying. See you later.